This is your Neepawa Town Council Debrief for the July the 19th, 2022 meeting. The debrief will take you through the key issues being discussed by Council and provide a bit more information on what they mean for the town. This meeting was dominated by a public hearing regarding rezoning a parcel of land on the east side of town from agricultural land to a mix of institutional, commercial, and multi-unit residential. The parcel and land in question is adjacent to Highway 16 and Broadway Avenue, commonly known as Golf Course Road. The institutional portion is presumed to be the site of the new hospital, although that has not been confirmed by the province. It's the multi-unit residential portion that's the bone of contention with current residents in the area. Council elected to not hold a second reading of the new bylaw at this time to give them an opportunity to consider the community feedback.
Yeah, do you want to go ahead and Alice?
So this is the Town of Neepawa bylaw number 3216-22, being an amendment to the Town of Neepawa zoning bylaw 3184-18 as amended. General intent of bylaw number 3216-22 is to rezone an area of land in the Town of Neepawa from an ARO, agricultural restricted open space zone, and ARR, agricultural restricted residential zone, to an RM1, residential multi-unit 1 zone, I, institutional zone, O, open space zone, ARR, agricultural restricted residential zone, and the CH, commercial highway zone. And this amendment will allow for future residential development, I should just say future development of the subject lands, and areas affected by bylaw 3216-22 is an area of land lying north of PTH 16 and immediately east of Broadway Avenue, more particularly described as being part of the Southwest 34-1415 WPM as shown below in the attached map. I'd like to make one note. There was a small wording error in the from portion, which I should have also noted that it is coming from an RSU, which is a residential single unserviced zone. The two portions are all staying the same. They're just a minor error in the notice. Bylaw has been circulated through provincial departments. It has been circulated in the local newspaper on 2 occasions and sent out to neighboring properties.
Okay. Do you have anything that has been sent to you then? I just had some communication from a regional planning office who does the circulation, as well as there's one just from neighboring property owners, which... So you might have to go ahead and do that now.
I'll do the comments from our municipal relations office, Manitoba Municipal Relations Community Planning Branch. This amendment proposes to rezone the above referenced lands in the community of Neepawa as per the title line above. This file is associated with subdivision 4437-22-8407 and with development plan amendment number 121. Community planning has no concerns. Manitoba Infrastructure, Highway Planning and Design Branch, Manitoba Transportation and Infrastructure is requesting that the proposed public road connection onto PTH 16 be aligned or conform to the existing functional plan of PTH 16. All future residential, highway, commercial, and institutional developments shall utilize an internal road network and the new public road. No additional access onto PTH 16 will be approved. Traffic impact and drainage studies, along with a permit for the new public connection, will be required as per our subdivision comments. Manitoba Transportation and Infrastructure is requesting a revised subdivision application map and subdivision sketch showing the location of the proposed public road connection in conformance with PTH 16 functional plan as per this sketch in Appendix A with our full comments. Historic Resources Branch, Archaeological Assessment Services Unit. Historic Resources Branch has no concerns at this time, but at the time of development, the below applies. The proposed development area within the AR areas of RM1, ARR are situated along the upper terrace where the Stony/Franklin Creeks and White Mud River converge. Water bodies along which numerous archaeological sites have been previously reported. These factors, to name a few, suggest that any ground disturbances within the area have the potential to impact heritage resources. Therefore, the historic resource branch has therefore, the historic resource branch has concerns with the zoning bylaw at this time. Under section 12.2 of the Heritage Resources Act, if there is reason to believe that heritage resources or human remains are known or thought likely to be present on lands that are to be damaged or destroyed by reason of any work, activity, or project that is being proposed to carried out, then the proponent is required to conduct at his or her own expense a heritage resource impact assessment and mitigation, if necessary. Prior to the project start, the proponent must contract a qualified archaeological consultant to conduct the HRIA of the proposed location in order to identify and assess any heritage resources that may negatively impact by ground disturbing activities. If desirable, the branch will work with the developer and landowners and consultants to draw terms of reference for this project. Next, the Manitoba Environment, Climate and Parks Water Stewardship Division under the Water Rights Act and valid water rights license is required to control water or construct, establish, or maintain any water control works. Water control works are defined as any dike, surface, or subsurface drainage, improved natural waterway, canal, tunnel, bridge, culvert, borehole, or contrivance for carrying or conducting water that temporarily or permanently alters or may alter the flow or level of water in a water body, or by any means including drainage, or changes or may change the location or direction of flow of water by any means including drainage. We are multi-generational landowners from Neepawa that currently own property west of Broadway Avenue, including River Park East subdivision, and directly adjacent to the proposed agricultural land in Neepawa. To our knowledge, this property has been zoned agricultural land for well over 100 years, since the town's inception. Due to the lack of information available to landowners that will be directly affected by the proposed development and rezoning, we are not in favor to redesignate an area of land in the town of Neepawa immediately east of Broadway Avenue, more particularly described as part of Southwest 341415 WPM, and proposed amendments for an area of land lying north of PTH number 16. This area should remain zoned as is without any changes. We ask the Town of Neepawa Council and Neepawa Area Planning District to table the following concerns and questions. Number one, can the public participate in public hearings via Zoom? If so, please provide a Zoom link or dial-in number. Number two, will the public hearings be recorded and available to the public? Three, who is or who are the applicants, landowner or owners applying to rezone the property? What is the relationship between the landowners, Zettlers, and the Winnipeg design firm making the institutional rezoning application? Scotland, Miller, Murray, the town of Neepawa, and the province of Manitoba. Number five, what are the development plan and rezoning processes? Number six, what is the environmental assessment and impact forecasted to the area? This is key based on the development's proximity to the existing Broadway Avenue homeowners, golf course, Riverbend Park, and High Life Hog Plant. Number seven, does the town of Neepawa or province of Manitoba intend to purchase this land? Number eight, specific to the proposed residential development, what is exactly being proposed? What are the proposed residential lot sizes? If low-income row housing, condos, apartments are being proposed, how many of each are planned? And how will this increase the density to the area? Number nine, is the town of Neepawa offering any concessions, subsidies, grants, or otherwise to the landowner developer? If so, what? What is the percentage of green space and parks are included in the development plan? What town services will be offered should the rezoning be approved? Water, sewer, garbage pickup? 12, it was mentioned landowners west of Broadway Avenue may be encouraged to connect to town of Neepawa services, water, sewer, garbage pickup. How will this affect existing owner services and taxes? 13, are there any conflicts of interest that need to be disclosed, i.e. are there any individuals involved in approving the development that may benefit by approving the development plan, rezoning, and or developer's plan? Mayor, councillors, family members, or friends? Have all conflicts of interest been considered and disclosed? Some unresolved issues. Proposed development, road access, increased density, low-income row housing, condos, apartments versus single-unit families on larger sizes. Increased traffic noise, lack of architectural guidance, low-income row housing. decreased standard of living and property values to existing homeowners on Broadway Avenue. So if you have any questions or wish to discuss the matter further, please contact us. And it was submitted sincerely by Lauren and Myrna Kynes.
Okay, so I'll open up to the floor. As I think you all know, we'd like you to state your name, and if you can keep your comments concise, that would be great, because it looks like maybe there'd be a few who want to talk, so whoever wants to step up first, you're more than welcome. Okay.
Mark Boyle, 390 Broadway, and was here last night, and appreciate that the council has taken the time to listen to what people have to say. It's very particular to us who live in that neighborhood, of course, and that's by and large why we're here. So we did have concerns. A number of them have been presented in the letter that you read about low-income or multi-family dwellings and that sort of thing. We have concerns about it and the density situation, traffic flow and all of that. So that was mentioned last night. Now, you know, I think it was a good discussion last night, and I can't speak for everyone here, and I'm sure they'll get up and speak for themselves when I may misspeak, but I think that this is your first reading of this amendment. Is that correct?
There actually is going to be calling.
First reading was already given because the process established by the province of Manitoba to get these things towards to a public hearing.
Could you say slower? Because I don't think as fast as you do.
So anyway, so there's a process required by the province of Manitoba to get these things to the point of public hearing. So first reading is given, it goes into the province and it gets circulated to all the provincial departments, and Jeff has read you their comments.
Right, okay.
So after that report comes back, then it comes for public hearing. We could give second reading tonight should the council decide to do it, but we did not put it on our agenda. So there will be no second reading.
All right, so I guess my question would be, I know that this has to come forward today because it's being published and the public expects what you say to be done. So my question to you is, before it goes to another level, would you have a chance for an amendment to this?
Oh, absolutely. Whatever council so decides after the year, all the evidence tonight and
Okay.
after their decision.
Well, I think, speaking at least for myself, I hope that you'll consider looking at single-family dwellings along there. My concern is that the town will lose the opportunity to control the development out there by going ahead with this as it is. And that a developer will come in and say, this is how it's zoned, so therefore I can do this. And in my opinion, if you leave it at a single residential ownership, it doesn't mean you couldn't change it down the road. You could still, in my opinion, make it nice along that road, single-family dwellings, things like that. It doesn't mean that there's not room and space further back for other options that might be suitable. I mean, there are many people in this world who would love to have a nice condo along a golf course, etc. And I don't see that as a bad thing, but I think along Broadway Avenue, if you end up trying to put in a whole pile of people in multi-family dwellings, I think we're going to have lots of problems, and I think it'll take away from the lovely area that it is, and it could still remain to be and still meet the needs of Neepawa. So I hope that you'll consider looking at an amendment to this to turn it to single-family dwellings in the next chance you have. So thank you.
Thank you, Mike. Anybody else?
Sure. Neil Turner, 475 Broadway. Part of this single dwelling over multiple, prime example, what we're looking at, which I've argued with you guys since day one. It is a junkyard and nobody does anything about it, and if that's what you want up there, then go with your double bed or multiple, but otherwise single dwelling is the only way to go because we have that mess already. That was my property. I sold it. Some guy put up what he put up, and if I had known what was going up, it wouldn't have gone up. But I didn't know that at the time. And so it really burns me because nothing's been done about it. I've gone and cleaned the place up myself because nobody else will do it. And you guys really, really need to think about that because, and I've told you before, first place people come when they're going to golf or when they're coming to camp, they see that. And now you want them to go up and see it again and again and again. So it just doesn't make any sense. I mean, this place, the guy needs to be held accountable, and he hasn't been, and that's on you guys. Sorry, that's not on us. That's on our council, and that's why you're here, and that's what you're supposed to do. But nobody's done anything. And Denise and I have talked about it and talked about it and talked about it. And you can send all the letters you want to this dude. we ain't doing nothing. And so if you want that to continue, then you're gonna have that when you get up into that area, which is a beautiful area. Multiple is gonna be that again, and boy, you're shooting yourself in the foot. And I have some other comments, but I'll just leave that for now.
Okay, thank you, Neil.
Anybody else?
Ernie Sador. Yeah, just to follow up on the comments, I'm not going to go into it in depth, but I want to encourage the town to consider the comments that were provided. I do have the same concerns. I don't think I have to go through the whole thing, but we can do this right and make everybody proud of what we do. So with the fact that we have single, at least we start off, yes, we have opportunities to look at it down the road, whatever the case may be. But for the time being, I think I would be very discouraged if we didn't go that route. Thank you.
Thank you, Ernie. Anybody else?
Colin McNerney, 397 Broadway. Jeff, can you clarify, you had mentioned something about the agriculture or the residential area was RS2, single family housing, and was changed from that to RM1, multiple? Is that correct?
Well, that's what is proposed. There is a strip on the, I guess it's the east side of Broadway. I can't recall exactly how far, but there is a block of land on the east side of Broadway that is currently zoned RSU, which is the same zone as what is like around Phoenix Drive in that residential single unserviced zone.
Okay.
So there is currently a block of land that exists, and the proposal was to have it all to RM1.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the proposal was to change the single family to multi?
Well, just to make that whole parcel consistent, yes.
Or could it go the other way, the whole parcel being single?
Well, yes, yeah, it potentially could, yeah.
Because I think that's what you're
council
hearing
has to
from
consider.
everybody here.
Yeah, that's,
That, go back to the single
Yeah.
for the entire
yeah,
parcel.
it probably wouldn't be I'm assuming instead of an RSU, which is unserviced, I imagine it would go to an RS, which would be residential single.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, and the opportunity is there on select specific proposals for multi-unit buildings at a future date.
If it was in RS, or like a residential single?
Yes.
Like if the plan got changed to an RS, well, definitely, yeah, like if a land proposal comes in, and a developer wants to propose more, then this is the process we would follow again.
Yeah.
Right?
So it seems,
Based off that.
sounds to me the better flexibility is to go to the single and flex to the multi on a specific proposal rather than go the other way and have somebody come in and say, well, I want to, this is a multi-unit, so, or area that I, want to build a large development.
I don't know if I would comment personally if that's the right thing. I mean, that's what council's decision is to make, right?
Yeah.
Not mine.
Well, it seems to me that,
We look at it as a zoning perspective when we do it, and try to foresee what we know. A lot of requests from developers, and some developers are looking for land and they don't develop because they don't see developable land, right?
yeah,
So I guess we took it as an opportunity as putting a proposal forward to have some. And this is where the process comes into play, and the process works because, I don't know if I'll say works. In my world, it works because we put a proposal out there, it goes to the public has their opportunity to speak.
right.
And then council can make their decision off that.
I think we're kind of leaning towards RSU and then make some adjustments later on if we need to. Thanks.
No, thank you. Anybody else?
Mike Wilson. So highways won't let no more approaches go on the road. So if the hospital goes there, we're looking at Broadway being one access point.
I don't think that's ever been determined that the highway would not let another access on.
Didn't Jeff just say that earlier in the
No.
meeting? in that letter? That the highway will not, hey?
Is that for residential?
Well, the subdivision has proposed access to Highway 16.
Read what it says. What does it say?
I'm just looking at it.
Just to clarify, I know Jen's looking it up, what it is the hospital will be granted an access on PPH 16. Right now, they're just conferring amongst themselves between highways and shared health with the province of Manitoba where that access is going to be. So no, Broadway will not be the access to the highway, or for the hospital.
So they will have their own access,
Yes.
but that's still an access
The
point.
hospital will have direct access to the highway, yes.
So what that letter said isn't what?
This is a zone, like, there's two different applications. Last night was development plan amendment, this is zoning bylaw amendment tonight. When the original subdivision application that went in, which is 4437-22-8407, which is cited in that letter Jeff read, there will be a bylaw that will come forward to be passed by council for 3 readings to grant access to the PTH 16. Right now, though, and it has been surveyed out at a certain location, right now the province is dealing with the Department of Highways to determine where that location is actually going to be, whether it be further to the west or further to the east in a line with, across this way with hydro office. So there will be definitely an access on the PTH.
Okay, but the letter that Jeff just read,
No, I think there's just a little misinterpretation to that. if
I
Jeff
think
wants
there
to
is,
clarify.
because
It
then-
has to
I could
line
be
with the
wrong,
functional
but
side.
then not,
The access proposed is the only one where that would be access to Highway 16.
Lined up with the
Yeah,
subdivision
exactly.
application.
But yeah, there
yes.
would be no other
But
approaches.
nothing additional.
No, that's right,
it.
no other additionals onto Highway 16.
so there's gonna be an additional,
There's one proposed
highway.
onto Highway 16.
do we know where that's going? We don't know where that's going.
Well, it's
It's under
It's
discussion with
still in
highways.
discussion, not at our level, it's with the province of Manitoba and shared.
It's with the great.
Unfortunately, we don't know that answer yet.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else? Okay, is there any comments from council? I guess I would just say what I said.
If I could speak for this.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, yeah.
I own a piece of property directly east of an access road, across the way to the quarter to the east. And the rumor has always been running around that this road's coming through my yard. And so I've sat on pins and needles for the last 6 months even. I've sat on it longer because High Life wants a road through, never mind the hospital. So, and I go, and nobody can say anything, nobody can tell you anything, but I'm directly involved and I know nothing. Nobody's come to me, nobody said nothing. So I guess my question is there a road going through my yard? I need to know because it's my place.
Yeah, and I think that's the most difficult thing I've learned, Neil, in my 4 years sitting at this table, is that we are put in this position to have information, unfortunately, that we're not allowed to share, or we don't even know the information yet. I mean, this whole thing with this institutional property, I mean, I've signed a non-disclosure agreement, Murray, so the government of Manitoba has left us hanging here, and I know I'm saying it on camera, but it's true. And it makes it difficult for us to make comments that are not going to put us in legal jeopardy. And I guess I don't know what to say to you, that would be something that I could say about it. Okay, I guess I'd just like to end by saying, you know, what I know some of you are is that, you know, I appreciate you guys coming out. I agree exactly with what Jeff said before. You know, you guys are exactly what we need to make decisions. You're here giving us good advice. You're telling us what you believe. I mean, that's great. That's the way it's supposed to work. As Colleen said, the second meeting has been taken off the table tonight. So that's, you know, what we've heard. We're going to discuss what the future is right now. Right now, before us, we do have this bylaw, but it's just at its first reading, and yeah, we are going to have a discussion and move forward from there.
The other issue that received attention from the community was the new bylaw regarding taxi services, which will have an immediate impact on the handy van driver's ability to drive for the public when it passes the third reading. As has been discussed at previous council meetings, the new bylaw requires a particular level of driver's license to operate a taxi service within town limits, which would differ from what is currently required to drive a vehicle for private institutional use.
About your vehicle for hire bylaw, I was representing the handyman committee. We not opposed to this. Actually, we're putting together an RFP which will have these rules in it. My only concern is our active contractor right now doesn't have this class 4. So once this goes into effect, I'm more concerned about our clientele will have no after hours or weekend rides for that. Because he can't hire someone to do that and make any money with that at what we're at. So basically that's my biggest concern. I had no concern of having a class 4, that's not an issue.
Okay.
It's just that there's some clientele, and when the hospital phones, he won't be able to do it. Then there's no other way, other service to look after it.
Okay.
My concern is for the clients. At this time, once we get the new agreement done, then then that can change too. But
So when, just so I understand that, John, when could the new agreement be?
Right, and I guess once we get it organized here, which we're hoping here within the next month, but yes. So.
Okay. All right, any questions from council?
I think what.
Yeah, go ahead, Councilor Costa.
I think I think what he's saying, just because I also sit on the board, is they were more concerned with when the bylaw is, if the bylaw is approved, that it is effective immediately.
Okay.
And now is that an understanding? They just wanted that clarified, that drive will not be able to drive.
Okay, all right.
Effective immediately if that bylaw goes through. There's no grace period because it does affect
No,
somebody who's already in
you're already
position.
at third reading.
Yes, we are. Okay. Okay, I appreciate it.
The other, I guess, is, well, for clarification, is after your bylaw, if you approve it, is that the drivers will have to come and present their class 4 license to get a permit. This is kind of how it reads.
Yeah, I think that's accurate.
That's what you're looking at. Okay,
We're
that's.
really busy though, I wouldn't expect we'll be out of the gate horribly quickly, but.
Yeah, that might be a little.
You seem to have a lot on your plate.
Yeah.
And I didn't have a chance to say when you first came up, John, I want to say thank you. I mean, I know you've been part of the association for a lot of years. I know it goes back to your father. I know Ray Drayson's the same way, so I just want to say, you know what, the town appreciates everything you guys have done over the many, many years, so no, thank you for that.
No, just trying to look out for the clientele, because it just kind of ties our hands, we can't help them out. And there's a lot of people like their parents on the weekend or whatever, if they're having a family event, you know, and need a ride, it just makes it hard.
Okay. No, we appreciate you coming and telling us.
Manager of Operations Denise Kay reports that work has resumed on the new bridge at Park Lake, and also that a public complaint about the state of grass near the water tower has been addressed. The town is still scheduled to have Davidson Street paved in August. As well, they will soon be proceeding with repurposing a portion of the old Cocos Drive, currently intended for a basketball court or courts. There has also been a request from the public to use some of that space for a sepak takraw court, a game popular in the Philippines, which they hope to begin to teach people in Neepawa and possibly go on to compete in the sport. The town has hired a term rec director who will replace Nicole Cooper for the duration of her maternity leave and congratulate her on the birth of her 3rd child. In other recreation news, the new water slide has arrived, or at least the pieces of it have arrived, and is in storage until it can be installed in the fall. Also covered were the RCMP quarterly report, the monthly financial statement, accessing federal funding for an active transportation study, installation of the Manitoba 150 tile mural at the Flats, and progress on the new dog park near the bike trails, now called the Bark 40. You can view end-to-end coverage of the Town Council meeting elsewhere in the NACTV schedule, including immediately following this. We welcome your feedback on the program, and if you have questions or items that you'd like to see clarified or discussed, you can reach us at 204-476-2639 or by email at nactvnews@gmail.com. Thank you for joining me, and I hope to see you next time.